Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this TESmart 80 gigabit per second M.2 NVMe SSD enclosure. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So I have to say I'm very excited about this product. I've used a number of enclosures, but this is the fastest one I have at this point. So this enclosure supports Thunderbolt 5. It's also backwards compatible with Thunderbolt 4, USB 4, going down to USB 3.2. So let's get this out of the package. Here we have the enclosure, we have a screwdriver, we have a cable, some thermal pads, and here we have the user guide. Let's take a quick look at this. Now I may not cover everything in here, you want to read through it on your own. So this lists the features, talks about compatibility, has integrated cooling fan and silicone thermal pads, works with capacities up to 8 terabytes, compatible with PCIe 5.0 SSD. So you open the top cover, apply the thermal pads, plug it into the Thunderbolt 4 or 5 port. It says for optimal performance, the drive interface should support PCIe 4.0 by 4 NVMe 1.4 or above. So this is going to be compatible with Mac or Windows. So it lists lots of specs here. Here's the compatibility list. I think that's about it there. Let's take a look here. So this is an aluminum enclosure. We can see some venting here. We have rubberized feet. We have the USB-C port there. So I'll pull the bottom off. So it does come with a screwdriver. Pull that off. Now you want to use the cable that came with it because it supports 80 gigabit per second. If you use another cable, you want to also make sure it supports 80 gigabit per second if you want the top speeds. It looks like it comes with extra screws, and we have these pads. So the drive I'm going to be testing this with is the Western Digital Black SN7100. This is a 1 terabyte version. So I'll get this installed. Okay, so I put a thermal pad on the top and the bottom. I'll slot this in. Then I'll secure it with a screw. I'll put the cover back on. And now this is ready to go. So I have the drive here. I'll plug it in. The fan is starting up on it, but that will ramp down in a second. It says you have attached a drive that's not readable, so it gives me options. I'll choose initialize. So that will bring up the disk utility. So I'm going to go up here next to where it says disk utility, and I'll click on this, and I want to make sure I have show all devices chosen. Then I can go to external where it says WD Black. I'll click on that. I'll just copy this name here. I'll go up to the upper right and I'll hit erase, and I'll just use that for my name. Paste in WD Black. Format will be APFS since I'm on a Mac, and scheme will be GUID partition map. I'll hit erase. It's finished. I'll hit done. So I'll open up Blackmagic speed test. I'll choose the drive and I'll start the test. So here we're getting around 6,000 megabytes per second write and around 5,700 megabytes per second read. Now if this were on the previous gen technology, these would be around maybe 2,800 to 3,000. So we're getting about twice the performance. That's pretty impressive. Let's try copying some files. So on the left here I have 2 files. These are virtual machine images. One is 28 gigabytes, the other is 25. So we have, about 53 gigabytes. So I'll just select these. I'll drag them over to the external drive and I'll let go now. And now the files are copying. So it says it'll take about a minute. Okay, and it's done. So that was very fast. That was a lot of data, and it transferred it very quickly. Let me find a smaller file. So here I have a file that's 1 gigabyte. It's 1.05. Let's try transferring it. Oh, and that transferred nearly immediately. Okay, so I've copied a 4K video on here. Let's open this up, and let's try scrubbing through it. And it scrubs through it super smooth. I'm going to try another read test here. So I have this here that's going to read this in, and it's just going to dump it to nothing. So it's just going to do a read test of this 28 gig file from the external SSD. So we got 713.429.4341 bytes per second, and that coincides with 6,800 megabytes per second. So it transferred that in under 4 seconds. So that's the TESmart TBE X5 Max M.2 NVMe PCI Gen 5 SSD Enclosure. If you're looking to take the performance of your external drives to the next level, I think that's a great option. Since this uses Thunderbolt 5, you're going to get the highest level of performance. This will also support Thunderbolt 4, so if you want to plug it into older devices, this will cover you. A drive like this would be great for being able to offload video onto an external drive, and you can edit directly on this drive without a performance hit. A drive like this could even be used for backup. If you have large files to back up, you can do it a lot faster with a drive like this. Of course, this could also be used with Time Machine, so you could use it to run your Time Machine. Now, if your computer's sitting on a desk and this is just plugged in permanently, you probably don't need that kind of performance for Time Machine. But if you're on the go and you want to do your backup real quick so you can throw all your gear in your bag, a drive like this could save you a lot of time. So I use the SN7100 drive. I would use one of the drives recommended in the manual. So those are here, and those will give you the best performance. And while I think this is ideal for people who have a computer that's Thunderbolt 5 compatible, it can also be good for people who are going to be upgrading to a Thunderbolt 5 compatible computer in the near future. So this way, when you get that new computer, your drive is all ready to go. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.